Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this episode. Now, this episode is about express layering. This is the easiest, fastest way to layer long hair. Now, I know some people are really fastidious about taking really small sections, myself included, when I'm cutting short, precise hair. But in this particular instance, this hair's long, it's going to be very loose. Do we need ultimate precision when the hair is long like this? I don't believe so. There are lots of times where I believe that we need lots and lots of precision and we need fine sections to make sure we've got no over direction. But today we're going to utilize over direction, and I'm going to explain exactly why in just a second. First thing I'm going to do is talk about cutting baselines. Now, for me, cutting baselines, unless the hair is exceptionally thick, I do not pre-section for a baseline. I simply just cut it with the head slightly forward out of natural fall, only slightly. I then comb down my section, scissors in behind the hair, and I press the hair into the back of the comb, and I come down to my desired length, and I make sure that I'm pretty much as close to eye level with my section as possible. So I'm coming down and just making sure that it's nice and even, and then I just simply cut in my baseline, and I'm cutting about 2.5–3 millimeters away from the comb itself, so I've got a clear and obvious line that I'm cutting. So then I'm going to cut the side sections, and while I'm in this back quadrant, anything that is behind the back of the ear, I'll keep the head down for, and I'll just cut that line in. I think the more sections you take, especially on finer hair textures, the more complicated a one length becomes. On the side sections that is everything in front of the ear, I simply just tilt the head slightly to the side, and then I come in. Now, on some people, I think it is necessary, and some clients it is necessary to, hold the hair in between your fingers and cut your line. Again, I think the only thing that I would say about that is that what you want to be careful of is using too much elevation. Elevation creates graduation, and that's something that we want to avoid when we're cutting a one length. Tilting the head slightly will negate some of that graduation, but again, it is really important to kind of bear that in mind. So we'll just come around to this side section. Now, you might have seen in a video that I did a little while ago about cutting a bob, using what we call like the inside out or back to front cutting method. The main reason for that, and you can see that my hand now, my scissors, instead of being this way, they're upside down. The main reason for that is that when you cut a line going one way, the hair gets pushed in a certain direction. So some of you may have experienced that when you're cutting the right-hand side of someone's head as a right-hander, you will automatically either make this side shorter because you're cutting and pushing the hair up. So it's a really good trick to put your comb in level. You can use the back of your comb again, put your scissors behind the hair, put your comb in front, comb down with even tension with the head slightly tilted to the side, and just cut that line in from the back to the front rather than the front to the back. That will make a lot of difference to your outlines. So that's my outline cut in. Nice and simple, nice and quick. Someone asked me a question the other day in the comments. Is it good to put your baseline in first and then layer the hair? Or is it just preference? Can you layer the hair then put the baseline in? And my response to that was it's preference. Generally speaking, if you're cutting short hair, it takes more time to put the baseline in, then cut the layers. You can always refine the baseline in dry. That's my preference. So I cut the layers first, then refine the baseline. That gives me more freedom to play afterwards. In long hair terms, I generally put my baseline in first and then go back and do my layers. So let's talk about this haircut then, these express layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to subdivide the hair from the highest point of the head, and to get the highest point of the head, we're going to put the head into a neutral position. We're going to place the comb down on top of the head, and where it touches down, that will be our high point. We then section down to the back of the ear, and we push the back of the hair, sits in the back of the head back, and then we've got this rectangular shape section that encompasses the front hairline. We're then going to pick up that entire section in its entirety, and we are going to push it into the middle. Now there will be some pieces around the front hairline that will not meet where we're going to cut our layers to, and that is okay. We can let those just drop out. Right? So we've now got over direction from this ear right through to the middle. Now that will create a very, very gentle concave shape. And when it comes to long hair, I could take 3 or 4 sections to do this, or I could take 1, and I can guarantee that it won't be better to do 3 or 4 sections than it would to take 1. That's a fact. So I'm going to show you my cross-checking on this now. I'm going to keep that section in my hand. No magic cutting of this video, it is just one section, and if I take that right up, we can see that that is clean as a whistle, and there's just nothing to cut off that, and we've cut that whole quarter in one go. So I'm imagining at this point you can guess what's going to happen. We're going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side, but differently. We're going to take 1 centimetre of hair from the section we just cut, and we're going to incorporate it into the opposite side. We're then going to comb down from that point to the back of the ear, and we're going to push this hair back as we did previously, and we're going to pick up this whole section. Now if you didn't want to over direct it to the centre, just as an alternative, if you wanted to leave more weight around the face, you could over direct it back to this point here. That over direction in this direction will leave more length in the front, and therefore you'll have less short layers in the front area. That is personal and dependent on your taste for your client's specific needs, but in this instance I'm over directing to the centre, and over directing to the centre will leave more weight on the perimeter down here. So I'm going to pull the hair towards me this time, so I'm a right-hander, so I'm going to remain on the right-hand side just as I did for my previous section. To incorporate the back in, we simply do centre parting. We could do a side parting, but it doesn't really matter at this stage. And then we could split down one centimetre in front of the section we took before, so we're now in the middle of the ear rather than the back of the ear. This is going to give us our guideline to cut the back with. We'll do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. I'll just show you that. So we've got a section to the middle of the ear, which means that we've incorporated some of that front hair, and that is going to give us a nice, even guideline through this back section. So then we're going to take a center profile section. That center profile section will run straight down the back here, and this will be our guideline for the back section as well. So we'll end up with 2 guidelines. We'll have a clear guideline from the front, which I'll just show you just there. There it is, you can really see that section. We're going to cut that nice and square straight through the back here, elevating the hair straight up from the head. I hear my colleagues in the background there. Happy hairdressers. So then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to subdivide that 1 centimetre section straight down the middle, so that I've got a clear guideline for both of these back quadrants. Push that hair over, hook this hair up, and because we're doing a square layer, we can almost guarantee, tripod doesn't want to stay still, because we're doing a square layer, we can almost guarantee that some of the hair from the underneath sections will not meet our layers. We do not need to worry about that hair. That is not incorporated in the layers, and I'll show you exactly why in a second. So some of this hair's fallen down. This hair doesn't meet any of our guideline at the top there. So it's important not to get too worried about all this hair at the bottom, because you're not going to get that into your layers on a square layer anyway. So let's push this hair straight up, and we're going to do exactly as we did in the front. We're going to push this hair into the middle. So we've got over direction. We've got two very, very, very clear guides here. I'm just showing you from this side for the over direction purposes. There's my guideline. Two guidelines, one from that first section that we took from the front sections, and the one that I just cut in down the centre back. We simply just cut that through. That whole section is clean and crisp and even, and just for the sake of showing you that we've got a nice even section right there. Okay, that's that quarter done. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. However, remember, if you're right-handed, you're going to stay on the right-hand side, and you're going to pull the hair towards you, elevate the hair straight up to the ceiling, over direct it to the center, and then cut a square line. I can clearly see both of my guides there. I'm cutting the square line straight through to the back. And so you'll see that some of this hair has fallen away. It will fall away, it won't meet that layering, and that is our haircut complete. Easy, 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 easy haircut to do. And I don't know how long that's taken me, because I've not been looking. Let me look at the time. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we've got all of our layers done, and now we can go on to blow dry and refine to our heart's content. We can style our client's hair better than we've ever styled it before, because we've got that freedom to do that. I really, really, truly believe in getting the wet part of any haircut done very, very effectively, no matter how precise the outcome you want it to be. I'm going to go away and blow dry this now, and you'll see that finished result at the end of this video. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, then please do hit that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up so more people can enjoy these episodes. And thank you to everybody that's subscribed to the channel. I really, really appreciate everyone that's hit that button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. I do post every Sunday, that is a definite, but I also post on a Wednesday sometimes, so you will miss out on those sometimes.